Good, good. I'm sorry. When bad things happen to people, it's not supposed to be funny, but um, I just read a comment. Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. Actually, hold on just a second because I am about to cough. Okay, so I should not laugh about some people's bad fortune, but as we started the broadcast, I saw this message from Albert. Hola Paco y Cluster, is everyone okay down there? I read about the storm this morning and all the damage. Someone's tinaco or water tank ended up in a person's pool. Well, that's not nice. And it's not nice for me to laugh about that. I would not have wanted to be that pool, that person, or that tinaco. There was just something funny in the writing, at least the way I read it. But what is that about? Well, if you're not in town, last night we got another blowjob. Sometime around 1:30 in the morning, I woke up to hear winds gusting and I closed my windows, but the winds were so strong that even though my window was closed, rain still managed to get into my bedroom. Nothing major, fortunately, but I certainly hope that nobody suffered major damages. And if there were minor damages, hopefully they will be easily brought back to normality. Once again, this is Coffee and Headlines. It's great to see you on this Monday, 31st of July. The last day of the month. July is over. I have not forgotten that I told you that we would look at the end of the Spanish conquest over Tenochtitlan before the end of the month because that's when it actually happened. I have that pending to do and I'll get it done this weekend. As you remember, recently we talked about how the battle for Tenochtitlan began, but we have yet to talk about how it ended 1 year after it began. So it's on my list and we'll get it done this week. This, again, is Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together with headlines from our city, state, and country, things that we want to know about, things that we don't know we need to know about, or we will want to know about. And, of course, your comments, your ideas, your suggestions. It is great to read them every single time we get together. I hope you had a great weekend. I had a fabulous weekend with friends. I was invited to a pool party. Actually, that's not true. I organized a pool party at a friend's place and we all crashed her house. There were 9 of us, so I made 9 sweat rags for all my friends and it was so much fun. Anyhow, let us get started with today's news, but not before reminding you that if you're watching live for the first time and you wish to let us know, all it takes is for you to write the word new in your comment and we'll give you a nice little friendly welcome. If there is something important that you wish to share with everyone, just as Albert did, he added a capital letter Q at the beginning of his comment, which makes it a lot easier for me to find those comments later on today. So let me cue the news and let's get started with them. Da, 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 da. For starters, it is official. Puerto Vallarta has a new sister city in McAllen, Texas. As we previously announced, Puerto Vallarta Mayor Luis Michel traveled to McAllen with his wife over the weekend to sign the official paperwork after an initial ceremony that took place here in town last year. The delegation from McAllen visited us a few months ago. So, just in case you're wondering who these dudes are, this would happen to be the mayor of McAllen. We don't know who this dude is, but this dude over here, in case you're wondering, that is Cristian Salvador Preciado Cázares, who went from municipal tourism office manager to director, just like that. Nobody told me, and why would they? That's just the way politics happen here. While in McAllen, Mayor Michel and his posse were guests of honor at a culture and arts festival that celebrated Mexico and Latin America's cultural heritage and its influence in the Latino community in the state of Texas. Mayor Michel, of course, is back to a lively week, and we'll get into that in a second. But first, attention PV shoppers. There's caca water on aisle 3. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I am not. The Federal Commission for Protection Against Sanitary Risk, or COFEPRIS, has spoken. We talked about them last week, and after testing seawater at our city's most popular beaches, in a total of 289 beaches around the country, it was found that the Oasis beach is not fit for swimming. This is the beach located right behind La Isla Shopping Mall. The good news is that this is the only beach in town with too many caca molecules in it. And of course, in 3 days, we will announce that there is nothing wrong with the beach, according to our municipality, because that's the way things are done here. Okay, and more news about water. After Seapal failed to deliver on their promise to restore water service to a number of Puerto Vallarta colonias, and after members of the state government made it clear to Mayor Michel that instead of finger pointing and blaming past administrations, he should find solutions to the problem, members of our city council are getting in on the whodunit game. The finger-pointing war begins. That would be Carla Esparza on the left and Diego Franco on the right, both looking oh so trustworthy. I wouldn't trouble you with the details, as things are bound to get saucier tomorrow or the next day when the affected neighborhoods sit down with our mayor and get to listen to our mayor's explanation as to why Seapal failed to deliver on their promise. And if you are not presently concerned about this because you have not experienced any water shortages in your neighborhood, trust me, once it happens to you, you will be. And now, according to Tribuna de la Bahía, we will have a ton of heavy rain today. Of course, this may or may not be the case. A viewer recently contacted me to tell me how frustrated he is with our snarky carrot weather because it is so inaccurate, and I have to agree. But that said, I also have to say that our snarky weatherman is rather entertaining. So let's see what our weatherman has to say about this business. 31 degrees right now, with humidity at 76%. Our numbers in Fahrenheit degrees is 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Our weather forecast for today says, we've changed the comment. Now, Snarky Weather says, your local TV weatherman knows in his heart of hearts that he is completely irrelevant now. Ooh, ouch. Okay, so anyhow, Snarky Weather says, thunderstorms, light winds for today, chance of rain of 49%, a high of 33 and a low of 26. Tomorrow, Rain in the morning with mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon, chance of rain of 41%, and a high temperature of 33 and a low temperature of 25. Hump Day, Wednesday, thunderstorms in the morning with mostly cloudy skies in the afternoon, chance of rain 50%, a high of 32 and a low of 25. And there you have that. Before we continue, because I want to give you a chance to comment, if you care to comment, I am just wondering when you go shopping at supermarket, let's say you went to La Comer or Soriana or your favorite supermarket, do you buy Mexican products? Are there things that you swear by? Are they things that are really important to you? For me, one of my staple purchases is one that my mother used to make when I was a child, and I continue to make faithfully, and that would be salsa verdes. We've talked about this salsa before. It comes in different varieties, and I like the green one, and I like the salsa mexicana, and I like the avocado one. But if you happen to buy this brand, notice the red cap. Okay, red cap means that they now have a variety that includes habanero peppers, and I have mistakenly purchased this before, only to find that, oh, ouch, my refried beans are a little bit friskier than usual. So if you're buying these things, if you're buying salsa verdes, make sure that you look for the green cap if you don't like things too spicy, or if you want to, as a friend of mine or a new acquaintance recently described it to me, if you want to unleash the dragon, you can buy the spicy variety. But seriously, I'm just curious, when you, as English speaking immigrants, people that came here from elsewhere, do you go shopping in the Mexican aisles because you know exactly what you're buying? Or are you at a loss when you go to the supermarket? Should I go to La Comer and take photographs of some of the Mexican things that I buy and how I use them? If that would be helpful, inspiring, or otherwise amusing or entertaining to you, just write Comer in your comment, and I'll make sure to whip out my my iPhone and take photos of the things that I buy as I'm buying them. Now, if you want to comment on the Mexican products that you love, I would love to read those comments because I would love to know how our culture is influencing you. Before we get to the comments, however, we have more news to share. What is the best town in Jalisco to live? Asks Informador in this article. And according to them, the answer is San Sebastián del Oeste, one of the most beautiful municipalities in Jalisco. And I have to agree. The article reminds us of how San Sebastián del Oeste was born during the Spanish conquest, when its ancient mine and haciendas were prosperous enough to maintain a population of over 20,000 people. It would be difficult to imagine 20,000 people living in San Sebastián del Oeste today, as the population dwindled once the mines closed during the early 20th century. The present-day population of approximately 5,000 people watches over the town's development closely to ensure that it maintains its authentic flavor with the passing of time. If you've been to San Sebastián, I thought we should mention this. If you haven't been to San Sebastián del Oeste, it is a gorgeous town, and it is particularly awesome this time of year when it's really warm in Puerto Vallarta and we want to escape a little bit of that warmth. We go to San Sebastián del Oeste. There's spectacular thunder showers in the afternoon. There's fog that comes in. And every September, it's right around the corner. We're just ending July, but every September, San Sebastián del Oeste has a very unique paper hot air balloon festival in which hundreds of these things are deployed at the same time. And it's a hit and miss celebration because sometimes it starts raining, which is probably better because we don't want these hot air balloons setting the nearby forests on fire. But there you have it. If you haven't been to San Sebastián del Oeste, there's never a bad time to do it. but summers are particularly delicious. Last but not least, before we start chatting, of course, tomorrow we have our summer meet and greet, a chance to get to know one another a little better, and of course, in person. This will be tomorrow from 6 to 8 at Whiskey Kitchen. As usual, our hostess, Gina Hendricks, will set up some surprises that I don't know anything about, but I trust Gina and her staff to create a memorable experience for all of us. So if you're in the mood to get all hot and sweaty in the afternoon, we'll be at Whiskey Kitchen, and I hope you can join us as well. Now, let's see what everybody is up to. I see a new person. I'll get to you in a second, new person. Yay, I love it. Good mornings, good mornings, good mornings. I like your good mornings. We've answered that cue. And Ronnie, what are you doing in Plymouth? I love it. I remember I went to Plymouth when I was a teenager. I went looking for the Plymouth Rock, and I had imagined this massive, massive rock. And massive it is not. It is tiny, but it is there. Plymouth Rock. Let's see. Pam pararim pam pam. Yes, Mija, you did say that you wanted rain, and it rained last night. Although I don't think it rained as heavily as it blew. I was thinking after all that blowing, we would get like a lot of water, but I don't think we got a lot of water. Oh, great news! Gary says my friend was able to get a refrigerator. A kind Canadian gentleman returning to Canada needed to sell his if he is a part of the cluster. Thank you. I don't know his name. Well, that's great, Gary. I'm so glad that you were able to connect dots there and to make something happen. Parim pam pam. Do 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 do. Logan is sweeping broken glass this morning from picture frames getting blown off the wall. I can't stop thinking of all the hurricanes over the years that we have prepped and waited for that usually ended up being duds. But these out-of-nowhere storms seem to be happening more frequently lately. I have to agree, because the weather forecast said nothing about this one, and it came out of nowhere, and it left just like that. Chris asks, does Puerto Vallarta have a sister city in Canada? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Chris, let me research. There is Santa Barbara. There is Hyde Park. There is McAllen. And there may be another one in the United States. There are a number of sister cities in Mexico, but I actually don't know if there is one in Canada. I'll do some research and we'll get back to you on that. Salsas Herdes are in my Orilla supermarket. Yeah, well, yeah, this is great, Liz. When I used to live in the United States, I was able to get Salsas Herdes everywhere, and I loved it. I even buy the Herdes salsa in the States. They're essential. They're absolutely essential. Let's see. I see a bunch of comments saying comer, which means that the next time I go to La Comer, I will take some photographs of some of the things that I like to buy there. Brian says, I love soup. The Nor Chile y Limon soup is so good. You know, I don't think I've ever shopped for that one, Brian, but I definitely will next time I go to La Comer. The ones that I get by Nor are the instant rice soups. Well, it's not soup, it's dry rice. And I think I've shown those in the broadcast before. Let's see. Herde salsa casera. Yeah, that's the red edition of this, which is absolutely yummy. And I also use it for all kinds of things, Fran. Just be careful. Make sure that if you want it spicy, you get the red lid. Otherwise, stick to the green one. We tend to buy Mexican products, but sometimes my friends want to try American products. They were recently introduced to Hormel chili. They described it as interesante. Okay, fair. Let's see. Yes, only yellow tortillas for us because they are more corn flavor instead of the white ones. I have to agree on that. When I go to the supermarket, I think La Comer has yellow corn, blue corn, and white corn. I usually get the yellow corn tortillas because they are more flavorful. And there is that new person I spotted. Hello, Don. It's great to have you among us watching live. Feel free to let us know about you. Feel free to ask any questions while everybody welcomes you. Thank you very much for joining us. Here's a cue. My wife, Jeannie, makes our salsa. 3 different types, mild, medium, and hot. She grows the tomatoes and peppers for the salsa. I comment on that gladly. Yes, there is something to be said about homemade salsa. I make some homemade salsas from time to time, but for all intents and practical purposes, salsa Herdes is my go-to for a day-to-day cooking adventure. Purim pam pum pam pam. I even go to Vallarta, our Mexican food chain, to feel like I'm in PV. Great selection of foods that I recognize from PV. That is awesome. That is awesome. Let's see what else. Lots of welcomes for Don. That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Cluster. Parim pam pum pam pum. Do, 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 do. Great question. What is the sister city for? Says Amiga Luisa. Well, sister cities are such that they embark in cultural exchanges and commitments, or commerce exchanges and commitments. For example, the city of Santa Barbara every year organizes something called Il Madonari, which is the sidewalk chalk painting festivals, and they either bring artists to Puerto Vallarta to paint here, or they bring Mexican local artists to go paint sidewalks in Santa Barbara. That's one example of a friendship in action. I believe Santa Barbara has also donated a water fountain, the Dolphin Fountain. So there's also that kind of activity. Hyde Park in Illinois also has cultural exchanges. We know this because we've read in the past how Ada Colorina, a local artist, has been invited to go and exhibit her work in Hyde Park and vice versa. So some cities are more proactive than others as to their cultural exchanges, and some cities are more forthcoming than others in terms of providing news about what the sisterhood is about. So all we can say is with this new sisterhood with McAllen, that we will hear of interesting news going on. For example, we know that there's a direct flight from McAllen, Texas to Puerto Vallarta and vice versa. So that's the kind of thing that we are talking about. And I hope that answered the question. Let's see what else we have. Doody-doo-doo-doo, doody-doo-doo, salsa party. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, Don is in San Antonio, Texas. Good to know. Excellent. And I think we are pretty much there. I hope you had a good time during today's broadcast. I hope you learned something new. And I hope you will have an amazing week. I am looking forward to the week. I am certainly looking forward to tomorrow's meet and greet. As always, I'll bring name tags so we can have a nice time and an easy time maneuvering all the people that come and join us for these get-togethers. I hope your week is awesome. I hope to see you again soon. And I hope the rest of today is absolutely wonderful for you. Take care.